Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Nasher, and today I'll be reviewing what could possibly be the two worst Dracula films of all time. Now, by now we should all know about Dracula, one of the most iconic movie characters and literature characters of all time. And we should also know that he's been very popular in Hollywood as well. So I was just going around this movie place looking to buy some Dracula films, and there were a lot of them, but I wasn't so well informed about the chronology of the series, so I decided to just buy the two that appealed to me most. Since this one was just called Jess Franco's Count Dracula, I thought this was the first, so I bought this. And Scars of Dracula look pretty cool with Christopher Lee making that face, holding his girl. Looks like a movie about pain or something like that. But trust me, it's not. Now, I've always heard people say about how Christopher Lee is the second best Dracula. So I was expecting him to be very good, but his performance in these two films are about average. He just seems like an old guy most of the time. Like, when I'm watching a Dracula film, I just want to see Dracula. I don't care how old you are, just act like Dracula. But it just feels like I'm watching an old man say that he's Dracula. That's pretty much Christopher Lee's entire role and parts in Count Dracula and Scars of Dracula. Now, the movie has about, mediocre average reviews on IMDb of about a 7.0 average. But I don't think that it even deserves that much, trust me. As a matter of fact, these were both made on shoestring budgets, and it really shows through. I mean, I have seen a lot of cheaply made movies, but few have looked this bad. I mean, it literally looks like if it's just done on an entire stage or something, like a play, instead of being an actual movie set. The special effects, as far as it goes, it's average when it's on humans, but let's say, Dracula in bat form, that just looks terrible. You can already see the strings and stuff because it's a puppet. So, Count Dracula, as far as it goes, seems to be about this guy who visits Dracula's mansion or something, or castle, as you would call it, to interview him. But, he gets there before the middle of the movie, and before he gets there, he sees all of these scary images. A guy on a train tries to warn him not to go to Dracula's castle, but he still goes anyway. On his carriage ride there, he sees all of these wolves in the forest and these people staring at him through the forest, and I'm still wondering what he is doing there. This seems to not faze him at all. He just looks at it and says, okay, that's normal, instead of just being curious at least. Now, I must admit, I have not watched any of these movies, but that's just how bad it is. I cannot sit through these. And Count Dracula, more to the middle, gets a bit confusing. Because, the guy who visits Dracula's castle gets bitten, or something. And then it shifts, I think it's years later, or, his relatives come looking for him. And we see from this persona of a guy in, a mental prison or something, who looks like some sort of caveman with all of this shaggy hair on him. And I just got confused and took it off. Anyway, Scars of Dracula. What should I say about this Scars of Dracula? Well, for one, the part which I saw, which was about half or like the first quarter of the movie, like these movies are not 2 hours long, but they feel that way. I've always wanted to watch a long Dracula movie, but these just changed my mind completely. Anyway, Scars of Dracula, directed by Rut Ward Kramer or something like that. Anyway, Scars of Dracula. um, it starts off with like these people, this priest leading these people to go and kill Dracula, and like the guy, the Igor or minion or whatever at the door, like tells like he just says that it's just like the priest goes to him and tells him it's him alone who's come to see Dracula. So he opens the door, but of course they get ambushed and they like burn down Dracula's castle. And the minion always kept screaming, "Ooh, you'll never get my master, you'll never catch him." But then, as they pillage and go through the entire castle, they see it's empty. Oh, and don't worry about me spoiling this thing. It's not worth your time. So as soon as they get back from pillaging this empty castle and they return to the church, they see that Dracula has already killed everyone inside the church as a bat flies through the door when they enter the church. And that's as far as I got in Scars of Dracula, I'm sorry. Because, like, the whole set pieces and everything, it's just so unimaginative, just looks so bland. The acting is average, nothing spectacular at of the least. So yeah, these are both Christopher Lee movies. I was expecting a lot more. Like, since I heard all the good reviews that the first Christopher Lee Dracula got, and I thought that was going to be Count Dracula. But instead, it wasn't. You know, these are both made on shoestring budgets, and you can see that through. I have seen a lot of movies made on small budgets. Like last year, this movie called "I Am Not a Serial Killer," or "I Am Not a Monster," I forgot. Was made on like a budget of less than $2 million, and that got great reviews for its like spectacular special effects and its great acting and story. And that was made on a small budget, you know, for this time and this generation, which is really good. But oh, I have seen movies made on like $600,000, $500,000, even like $100,000 budgets. Like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I have watched Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and sort of enjoyed it for how campy and cheesy it is, as even pretending to be a horror movie. But these are supposed to be like real horror movies, and they don't horrify you at all. They just make you laugh at how bland and dry everything is. And this is not Christopher Lee at his best, I hope. I might check out the original, like the first two or whatever Dracula movies, Dracula films. But I don't know. This is kind of changing my like perspective on wanting to see these films. Anyway, I'd like to know how you felt about Count Dracula and Scars of Dracula if you've ever watched them. And go and watch them for yourself. But I'm pretty sure you'll come out just like me saying, nah, this isn't good. Anyway, are these the two worst Dracula films of all time? I'd like you to share your opinion in the comments below. And this is Kevin Nash here, and I'm